Hi, we're back at the Las Vegas Traders Expo with Amelia Bourdeau from Market Compass, talking about event risk. And we were discussing earlier, there's been a whole lot of events over the last several years.
True.
And one of the things that perplexed traders, I think even Kim mentioned it in her opening remarks, was up until 2008, the volatility continued to shrink, and the market seemed to be able to climb this wall of worry, and a lot of events that people might have thought might have really spiked markets didn't happen, but now volatility has returned. How do you deal with that?
I keep track of what moves the market and what doesn't, the event. So I keep detailed spreadsheets that look at when the markets are moving and what moves on that day and kind of why. I take notes. And so when something feels like that time, I go back and refer to it. So since the start of the year, I can tell you that what's been really moving the markets is any headline on positive or negative on the trade war, U.S.-China, and also FAANG stock news, whether that's earnings or whether that's perhaps negative news with Facebook on either hacking or fake news stories. That really drives those stocks lower. The FAANG stocks just drives the U.S. equity markets lower. And in that risk-off environment, usually dollar-yen will also move lower, so yen will strengthen. So I watch those movements very carefully.
You mentioned the trade war. We had been on the political spectrum. I think both sides had kind of settled on a relatively free market point of view and thinking that trade war was bad, tariffs was bad. So did that maybe make the market on edge? As we spoke earlier, there are some events that people might have thought might have affected the market, but the markets were stable.
Yeah.
Is that something that might have put the market on edge now? So now additional geopolitical risk may have a greater effect?
It's true. I mean, the Fed is raising rates, which is withdrawing liquidity from the environment, and that makes, equities a bit nervous. What's really making equities even more nervous is taxing the U.S. consumer via tariffs on Chinese imports, and those really affect large multinational companies, which affect equities, and so that's really a large event risk causing these risk-off days in the stock market.
Right, Amelia, is that also part of an important part of macro trading, knowing the trading environment, so knowing in this environment how drastic will an event affect markets and what markets are more vulnerable to some sort of an event risk?
Yeah, for sure. So in macro trading and foreign exchange, we always look at volatility. So in a volatile environment, there's safe haven currencies in the G10. So we know that those will outperform. That's the dollar, the yen, and the Swiss franc. And then in non-volatile times, when equity markets are doing well, the high beta currencies are Aussie, Kiwi, and the Swiss krona.
Okay, and Forex, all traders should be able to understand that from the Forex side, because often the dollar, the Forex itself, is the driver. If the dollar is strong, commodities can only trade, can only move so much. But if they're volatile, that'll affect other markets down the line.
That's true. So right now, U.S. economic growth is pretty much outperforming the rest of the world, and the Fed is raising rates more so than Europe. So both of those, the rates and the economic growth, is keeping a bid in the U.S. dollar, which is really important, and that will also go on to affect the commodity markets, as you said. For now, I see the dollar continuing to be strong because it has both a safe haven bid when things are volatile in other places, and rising U.S. interest rates are certainly supporting the dollar.
And that seems to be a big part about macro trading in general, which is understanding all these interconnections and how they work and how they affect different sectors.
That's right. And at Market Compass, we watch this for you. We develop themes, and we watch event risk for you. We watch positioning. And when things change, we alert you, and that's when we either initiate trades or manage positions.
Thanks, Amelia.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us at the Las Vegas Traders Expo.
Thanks for your time.